There is a nest in your yard right now. You have not seen it. You were not supposed to see it. It was built specifically so that you would not see it. But it is there, tucked into the back of a dense shrub, pressed against the underside of a hanging basket, wedged into the gap between your fence post and the climbing vine you keep meaning to trim, and something you are doing right now, today, this week, this season, is destroying it. Not on purpose. You would never do this on purpose. But intention does not matter to the eggs cooling inside that nest. Intention does not matter to the nestlings that will not survive the week because the parents stopped coming back. Only behavior matters, and your behavior in 5 specific ways is one of the most dangerous things in that nest's world. Subscribe before you keep going, because if you have a yard, a hedge, a hanging basket, a cat, or a garden light, at least 3 of these are happening in your yard right now. Every year, same mistake, same result. April arrives. The yard looks overgrown. You pull out the hedge trimmer and spend the Saturday morning making everything neat again. And inside the hedge you just trimmed, a Carolina wren is sitting on 5 eggs that will never hatch. The Migratory Bird Treaty Act has been federal law in the United States since 1918. It protects active nests, eggs, and nestlings of native bird species. Disturbing an active nest is not just ethically wrong, it is illegal. And it happens in suburban yards across North America every single spring because the birds build invisibly and the homeowners trim without looking. Carolina wrens are the most common casualty. They build in anything that looks remotely enclosed. Hanging boots near back doors, coiled garden hoses left on porch shelves, the gap inside a rolled-up outdoor umbrella, the dense center of a privet hedge that has not been touched since last fall. Robins build on porch ledges and downspout brackets. Catbirds disappear into shrubs so dense that a running trimmer reaches the nest before the eye does. Mourning doves nest on flat surfaces so exposed that a single disturbance causes immediate abandonment. A 2019 study published in the journal Avian Conservation and Ecology tracked nest success rates in suburban yards before and after landscaping disturbance. Nests within 10 feet of active trimming showed abandonment rates 4 times higher than undisturbed nests. Even when the nest itself was not physically damaged, the parents hear the trimmer, they smell the exhaust, they feel the vibration. And in species with high predator sensitivity, wrens, catbirds, warblers, that is enough. They do not return. The fix is completely achievable. Do all major trimming and pruning between late September and early March. That is the window. Everything outside that window requires a visual inspection first. Part every branch. Look into every gap. Check every hanging basket, every basket liner, every pot, every enclosed space that a bird could squeeze into. If you find an active nest, mark it. Leave a 10-foot buffer. Come back in 6 weeks. The hedge will survive. The eggs will not. This one nobody talks about. You installed the lights for security, for ambiance, for the pathway to the back door. You leave them on overnight because it feels safer. And every night those lights are running, they are dismantling the nest survival system that every bird in your yard depends on. Here is what is happening. Outdoor lights, particularly white, blue spectrum, and LED lights left on through the night, attract insects, thousands of them, collecting on and around the light source in predictable concentrated numbers throughout the breeding season. That insect concentration attracts raccoons, opossums, rats, domestic cats on their nightly circuits. Every opportunistic predator in your neighborhood learns within 1 season that the lit yard has reliable food. And once a predator is in your yard hunting insects, at 2 a.m., it is also finding nests. A study published in Global Change Biology in 2018 found that artificial light at night was directly associated with increased nest predation rates in suburban environments. yards with consistent overnight lighting showed measurably lower nest success than yards kept dark between dusk and dawn. The mechanism is not complicated. Light removes the darkness that ground nesting and low nesting birds depend on for concealment. A wren nest in a dark hedge is invisible to a raccoon. That same nest in a lit yard is findable. There is a second effect that is less obvious and more damaging. Artificial light at night disrupts the hormonal cycles that govern bird breeding behavior. Research from the Netherlands Institute of Ecology published in Current Biology found that female great tits living near artificial light sources began laying eggs an average of 1.5 days earlier than birds in dark environments. Early laying mismatches the timing of hatching with peak insect availability, the precise window when nestlings need maximum food. The chicks hatch. The food peak has passed. Survival rates drop. Your security light is shifting bird breeding biology by days. And a few days in the nestling window is the difference between survival and starvation. The fix is motion-activated lights only. Warm amber or red spectrum bulbs instead of white or blue LED. Lights pointed downward instead of outward. And complete darkness between 10 p.m. and dawn during April through July. Loss Will and Mara, Nature Communications, 2013. 2.4 billion birds killed every year by free-ranging domestic cats in the United States. 2 of every 3 are native species. You know this study. You may have dismissed it. You may have told yourself your cat is different. Your cat mostly stays close to the house. Your cat is well fed, so it does not really hunt. None of that changes the number. Cats kill for instinct, not hunger. A well-fed cat that spends 4 hours outdoors during breeding season kills multiple birds per week. Research tracking individual cat behavior using GPS collars, published in Animal Conservation in 2013, found that even cats their owners described as low-ranging covered an average of 10 acres per day when outside. 10 acres. That is every nest in your yard, your neighbor's yard, the yard behind that, and the vacant lot at the end of the street. And cats do not need to kill the adult birds to destroy the nest. A cat that investigates a nest site leaves scent. Parent birds detect mammalian predator scent with extraordinary sensitivity. A nest that smells of cat is a nest that gets abandoned, even if the cat never came within a foot of the actual structure. Research from the University of Georgia's Kitty Cam project, which attached small cameras to outdoor cats and tracked their behavior, found that cats spent significant time in dense vegetation, exactly the nesting habitat of ground and low nesting species. Wrens, ovenbirds, towhees, sparrows. Bell collars reduce kills by approximately 100%. That sounds significant until you calculate 40% of 2.4 billion. The fix is indoor only. Or a catio, a fully enclosed outdoor structure that gives the cat outdoor access without territorial range. Both work. Outdoor access does not. This one is counterintuitive. You keep a tidy yard, mowed lawn, clean edges, leaf litter removed in fall, deadwood cleared, brush piles taken to the dump, and every one of those things removes exactly the habitat that produces the food nestlings need to survive. Baby birds do not eat seed. Almost no nestling of any species eats seed in the first weeks of life. They eat insects, specifically soft-bodied insects, caterpillars, moth larvae, aphids, beetles, flies, in quantities that most people find genuinely shocking. A pair of Carolina chickadees raising a single clutch must find between 6,000 and 9,000 caterpillars to feed their nestlings to fledging. Research from the University of Delaware by Douglas Tallamy documented this with precision. 6,000 to 9,000 for one nest in roughly 16 days. Those caterpillars live in leaf litter, in deadwood, in the loose bark of standing dead trees. In the untrimmed edges of gardens where native plants host the larval stages of hundreds of moth and butterfly species. A perfectly manicured yard, clean edges, imported ornamental plants, no leaf litter, no dead wood, produces almost none of this food. It looks like a yard. To a nesting chickadee, it is a food desert. Talamy's research also documented that the native plant composition of a yard directly determines the number of caterpillar species it can support. A yard planted with native oaks, native cherries, native willows, and native goldenrod supports hundreds of caterpillar species. A yard planted with imported ornamentals, burning bush, barberry, Bradford pear, English ivy, supports almost none. The fix requires only a shift in what you consider beautiful. Leave a leaf pile in the back corner. Leave one standing dead tree if it is not a safety risk. Let the garden edges stay loose. Plant one native tree, a native oak or native cherry, and watch what happens to the insect population in your yard within 2 seasons. The nestlings are counting on what your yard produces, not what you put in the feeder.
The birds in your yard want to nest there. They are assessing it right now. Every bird that visits your feeder in March and April is also surveying the available nesting structures. The density of cover, the height of the vegetation, the predator pressure, the proximity of disturbance. And in most suburban yards, they are finding the same answer: nowhere safe. The dense native shrubs that produce the tangle of branches needed for a robin nest, removed for a cleaner look. The brush pile in the corner that would shelter a towhee nest, hauled to the dump. The old wooden fence post with a natural cavity, replaced with a vinyl post with no gaps, no holes, no entrance for a wren. A study published in the journal Urban Ecosystems tracking nest site selection in suburban environments found that the single strongest predictor of successful nest establishment was the presence of dense native vegetation within the territory. Not feeders, not water, not nest boxes. Dense native vegetation. Nest boxes help, but nest boxes solve one specific problem: the absence of cavity nesting habitat for species like bluebirds, chickadees, and tree swallows. They do not solve the absence of structural nesting habitat for the majority of backyard species that build open cup nests in dense vegetation. A cardinal needs a dense, multi-stem shrub at least 4 feet high with branch structure tight enough to cradle the nest. A catbird needs a tangle of stems in a thicket at the yard edge. A song sparrow needs tall grass and low, dense cover. An American robin needs a horizontal branch or ledge with structural support and nearby mud. Your yard has a feeder. It may not have the habitat. The fix is not instant. It takes 1 planting season to begin. Native shrubs, native viburnums, native spicebush, native buttonbush, native elderberry, establish quickly and provide exactly the structure these birds are looking for. Plant one, then another. Then let the edge get a little wilder. The birds will find it. They have been looking for it. There is a nest in your yard right now. You still have not seen it. You are still not supposed to. But you know more about what it needs than you did 10 minutes ago. It needs you to wait until September to trim. It needs the lights off between 10 and dawn. It needs the cat inside. It needs the leaf litter left in the corner. It needs the shrubs you have not planted yet. None of these things require extraordinary effort. None of them cost significant money. All of them require only the decision to look at your yard differently, not as a space you maintain, but as a habitat you are responsible for. The nest is already there. The birds built it because something in your yard gave them reason to try. The question is whether what happens next gives them reason to stay. Tell me in the comments, which of these 5 is happening in your yard right now? And which one are you going to fix before this nesting season ends? I read every single one. I will see you in the next one.